Greetings and welcome to the original show with Chris and Liza. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Liza. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the original live. We are
That's
live on
right.
Facebook. I'm Chris,
And
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 and this is Liza.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
Tell us
Chris.
who you are and where you are today.
Yes, yes. So I look a little different because I'm in a little different place, but it's still me, Chris Gota. I'm a mother of four beautiful sons, a healthcare executive, and a homeschooling mom, and the
Hmm.
co-host of this show. But I am joining from Mammoth Mountain. I think we're at 8,500 feet above sea level right now. The
Wow.
the temperature is 19 degrees Fahrenheit. It's just starting to snow again. I'm gonna move myself out of the way so you can kind of see the trees out there.
Oh, Chris, that is so
And
beautiful.
so we were lucky enough to grab the chalet that wasn't rented out. So we're here. Dad's taking the kids skiing. That's their PE class, and we're doing all kinds of fun things out here. But that's where I'm at. But here I am, not to miss this the original. Not for
Exactly.
yep, not even for being 8,000 feet above sea level.
And welcome, everyone. I am Lisa, your expert hypnotherapist, the co host to this incredible show of connecting with you. It is a show by women, for women, and I love it. We come together every week to bring you different aspects of behaviors, different aspects of what we go through, and hopefully we shed a light for you by our tools, techniques, and what we share and makes a difference in your life. Well, Chris, are we going to be talking about cold or something else?
Well, yeah, I'd love to go on and on about my lovely couple of days unplugging out here. But what we've actually done, it's I mean, m- my homeschooling life is very eventful, especially when we travel, and travel is a
Mm,
very big part of our homeschooling adventure. So, we incorporate all of the normal things that the kids love to do, and what one of the things they love to do is to watch these shows. This particular series, the Marvel series, we just finished watching one of the best shows, I think, in my opinion, and it's a series called WandaVision,
hmm,
and it's on the Disney Plus channel, and
okay.
it just finished. So I'm not going to give any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I highly, highly recommend that you watch it, even if you're not into superheroes and science fiction and comics and all that. It tells a very, very, very good story. Now, you do kind of have to have some background on who Wanda is in this show, and she is one of the superheroes that's in the Avengers movie. So if you watch
Okay.
the Avengers movies, the series, all the way to the end, I think there's four or five of them. Then you'll kind of get who she is and where she comes. And then WandaVision is just a series just about her and her
Oh,
story.
okay.
So why I recommend it
Well,
is it's a great way of you know the one of the things that they highlight in the storytelling are the five stages of grief. Interestingly enough, you
mm,
you'd think that a kid show or a comic book show wouldn't be as deep, but that I've been a comic book fan for many, many years since I was a little girl, and they do cover very, very you know um, complicated and deep subjects, and the five stages of grief just happens to be that. So I don't know, Lisa, do you want to just go over what the five stages of grief are for
we
people who don't?
can, and yet I want to share something that I think no matter if we think about it, no matter what kind of a show it is, either a soap opera or the Avengers, if it is a children, even the cartoon Felix the Cat when it was like oozums years ago. There's always a hero, there's always a villain, and there's always, there's the good, the bad, and
Mhm.
who wins and who
Yeah.
champions, right?
Yeah.
So I think it is beautiful, and grief is a part of life. So let us talk about how we grieve and how we cope, and maybe we can even talk about some personal stuff, what we have gone through. Would that be
Yes.
okay?
Yeah, that's
All
perfectly
right.
fine because I'm more than willing to share my experience.
Sure. So have I. Okay, let's do this.
So the five stages of grief, and in this particular show, I guess I don't want to tell too much of the story, but I won't be spoiling it by saying that WandaVision starts out with the heroine or the hero of the story having had a big loss in her life. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
very similar to what we've all experienced, the loss of someone very significant. And in this case, in her story, it was her partner, her life partner that she lost. He died, and so she enters this kind of the story, in the first stage, right, which is the denial stage, and it's a
Mhm.
very interesting way that they tell the story. Anyway, she goes through all of the stages, but the beautiful thing about this show is that it illustrates, and like you said, there's the good guys and the bad guys, and in this particular show, that's kind of blurred. You're not really super sure who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. Is Wanda the main character? Is she the good guy or is she the villain?
Mm.
It's kind of blurred, so you're kind of sucked into the story, but at the same time it really illustrates that when we lose somebody, we go through the stage of anger, and guilt, and we want to find the bad guy. Whose fault is it that we've had this loss, that we're in this situation? So we all go through it. Obviously the fantastic story of these superheroes, it kind of makes it more colorful, but it's still very significant for people who've lost someone significant in their life. And for me, when I lost my mother and she died in 2018, July 2018, after really a very quick decline from dementia. And so, interestingly enough, and of course, Lisa was there to help me along the way as I dealt with this. When my mom started to get sick when her dementia really started to take hold, and she progressed very quickly. Within a year, just a little over a year, she went from really just the normal, like forgetting things, to all of a sudden her body stopped functioning, and she, really reverted back to being a child and had to be cared for, and really couldn't do anything for herself. So I think I went through the stages of grief. I think I started going through that before she actually died, because I felt like I had lost her, especially in that very last year. Like, where was my mom? Who was this person now that is completely dependent and, unable to, remember what we talked about the day before? And, so I think I felt like, now looking back to 2018, I felt like I started losing her much earlier than her actual death. Does that make sense? Does that have you?
It does, but did you realize it then, or you are recognizing it now?
I'm recognizing it now. I don't think I realized it then. I'm recognizing it now. And interestingly enough, during that whole time, at the very, because I'm the oldest child in my parents, so I kind of took hold of the arrangements and all of that. So I didn't have time to kind of go through it and be in it. I sort of just had to get the job done, get the arrangements done. So I kind of watched my other family members, my sisters and my dad, go through their stages. And I think it helped me. It helped me to kind of center myself, to watch them go through it, and to kind of be in there with them. But I don't think I actually, a lot like the show, Wanda, I didn't really go through it for a while, until
Were
maybe a
you like more of a doer and an observer, taking care of everything and not immerse yourself to grief?
yeah, yeah. I think that I was in the denial stage for much longer time than, you know uh, probably than anybody else. And then then once I got through the whole, and then I would switch back and forth. I know there's these stages, right? uh, um, the denial, the anger, the bargaining. So I kind of switched back and forth between the anger and the bargaining.
Why were you
And then
angry?
uh, there was a lot that I wanted to say to my mom. I wanted her to know things, and it was I couldn't have that conversation at the end. She wasn't there. for me. She wasn't there to realize what was going on. So all the stuff that was kind of left unsaid, my mom was a kind of a difficult, we had a difficult relationship, mother-daughter relationship. So there was a lot of unresolved stuff. So that's kind of why I think I stayed in the anger and bargaining part a little bit longer. The depression part, I would say I kind of dipped in and out of it, but it didn't last very long. And then finally acceptance came. And I still honestly think that I'm still kind of in that acceptance stage. I'm still kind of like rubber banding back and forth between um,
Between what? Accepting and what?
and bargaining. There's yeah, I mean,
What is
there's
it
still,
regarding?
yeah, still just I talk to her. I talk to my mom when things are difficult, and I'm realizing things about myself as I grow and develop. I'm like, oh gosh, mom, I know that you didn't mean to be so dismissive of my feelings when I told you about this. So I still talk to her. So every once in a while I'll get mad and I'll tell her, you should have just let me express myself instead of telling me to stop crying. So I didn't feel safe crying around you when I was little. I didn't feel accepted. And then I'm like, but I'm not going to do that with my kids. I'm going to make sure that I'm there for my kids, and I'm going to let them have their big emotions and not let it rattle me like it rattled you. So that to me, I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm saying it right, but that to me is like bargaining. Like I'm
Ah,
still kind of working things out with her, if that makes any sense.
yeah, it does. Um, it does. Actually, might as well do the bargaining so you get some kind of a resolve.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And my dad's still alive. I'm taking care of him, and he's actually healthy for 88 years old. He's pretty good. He's got the usual things that the elderly have, but he's not in that stage that my mom. He wasn't like terribly sick, or isn't terribly sick the way my mom was at the end. So I feel like I'm still taking care of the things that she would have taken care of, or my dad. I'm taking the place of taking care of my dad, because she can't now.
Is your uh, did your dad go through the same things of grieving, going from the denial to
Oh
the
yes,
anger and everything? Did he go through it?
oh yes, and it was very interesting to watch. Very interesting. The denial part went for a long time, a long time. I think only very recently has he really accepted that she's not there, because he would for weeks and weeks afterwards say, so where's mommy, is she coming home from the hospital soon? Like
Wow.
he had made up the story that she went to the hospital.
But that's a coping mechanism.
It is, I saw that, and sometimes I'd be very gentle with him and say, when that was a long time ago, Dad. Mom's not here anymore. And then he'd be like, oh, yeah, yeah, I know. But then, a couple of weeks later after that, he would remember things differently now. Oh, when mom was when mom fell and I was with her at the hospital. So we should go pick her up. We should go pick her up from the hospital because I told her we would go pick her up. So he was
Mm,
remembering things very differently. Um, and then it was literally just a couple of months, after the holidays, that he's, goes, oh, I miss mommy. I wish mommy was here. And he would, we put up the Christmas decorations, and he's like, oh, we don't have to have a Christmas tree because mommy's not here. We're like, oh, of course we have to have a Christmas tree. But, so I could see that he was like starting to stop talking in that
right.
detail kind of conversation. So it's very interesting to watch. Very
Well,
interesting.
I think my dad's death was he was declining and declining and declining. It was not like he was in pain, for us to say, you know what, uh, might as well go so you won't feel the pain. But it got to a point that at the end he he felt so useless. You know, he was 95, and he got to that point when he said, you know, I have no more use. And he was a
Oh,
person that always worked. He was a workaholic, and he
yeah.
felt as if there is no value for him to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that did it for him more than, because he was just fine. And then the last year, it was like, I can say until the last year, he had gone to the hospital only one time in his life.
Oh, so he was
Um,
fairly healthy before that,
Very
right?
healthy. And then the last year, it was suddenly all decline.
Oh, yeah.
So mom took it very well. And of course, missing him. So whenever right now something happens and I'm going like, now you're just talking like him. Is that how much you miss him? But she said every morning she wakes up and it's like, well, he was in my dreams last night, and I'm going, you know what? You guys were cat and dog when he was here, and now he comes to your dream. So she does not feel the essence. When it comes to me, I take death in a different way. I know I went through it with my grandfather, and when my grandfather died, he was my world. He was
Oh,
literally my world.
mhm.
Back in Iran, I would sit and wait for him, and as I would see him walking up the driveway or something with his beret hat, I would just drop everything, run downstairs, and just open arms go to him.
Oh,
And when he died, I made a promise. No one on this earth has ever and will ever love me like he did. And believe it or not, it's funny how that promise, it's incredible the incantations that we do, the promises that we make as a child, and we honor it or stand by it
mhm.
without realizing how it affects us in our adulthood. So I don't know if you've ever done it, but until years, like about 5 6 years ago, until I did like a self hypnosis, or it was a friend of mine, colleague of mine, that did the self hypnosis and hypnotized me, not self hypnosis. I blurted that out and I said, I've never allowed anyone to love me like him.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It was huge. It was like everyone can come near me, but there is this shield. You're not allowed, and I will not give you permission because he was my life.
Okay, you
So
have to watch this show. Oh my gosh, you brought it right back to my point about this show. It because in no spoilers here, the main character, her name in the comics is called the Scarlet Witch. And she is all about powers and magic and that just what you said is just it made me tingle because that's really what the story is about and something that I'm kind of still kind of thinking about for myself that you go through this terrible loss, the loss of something that you in your life you felt it was the loss of a love, a deep and unconditional and perfect love. You lost it and that
and
it
I
was.
want to say something
Mhm.
about that. I don't know why I'm getting teary eyed. They never allowed me to go to the graveside the day of the funeral.
Well,
So there was no closure.
oh,
And that is one of the things that you as an audience, you as a viewer, I know in this country in America they have a different, but in back in Iran and in our ethnic world, they say little children are not supposed to be there to see that.
oh yeah.
There is so much of hide it, hide it, hide it.
So
So
wow, you were allowed to say goodbye.
yeah,
Oh, oh yeah. So that's a deep wound, just like in the story, and but the beautiful thing about the story, again, which is something I'm still exploring with my grief journey, is that the message is that yes, these things can break you apart to down
Mm-hmm.
to your very essence. But if you go through it and you come out the other side, you are a changed person. You're different from what you were before. That's undeniable. But you are also have a new power. So that this new power is, and you can really see it when you see it. When I see my dad having gone through it, when I see my sisters having gone through the grief journey with when my mom died, and me, and I can definitely say yes, we're different. We are very different people from before she died, just like you're different before your grandfather died, before your father died.
Yep.
But as you've come out, I mean, just your story about going through that hypnosis or hypnotherapy session, and then releasing that what that I guess it was a binding on your heart about that
It's
part.
like a light bulb going on.
Yeah.
You know, hypnotherapy and everything. The stage is just like denial is first. It's acknowledging it. That's why I call it my 3E method. Evoke it. So evoking it is from the inside to bring it to light, acknowledging it and go, wow,
Yeah.
until we come to embrace it, which is this acceptance in order for us to evolve to what it is that we want,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that aha was like all these years, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So it was both painful but freeing at the same time.
Yes,
Yeah.
huge aha, huge aha. And then recognizing how truly I had done that with every single guy that had come into my life. How
Wow.
I brought them in, attracted them, and then just as they would get close, it was like, you're not the one for me.
Because of that spell you cast on yourself from the time your grandfather died.
Like Snow White, I did it on my own, and I had no one to come and kiss me.
Oh, but it's really interesting when in this story, same as I guess it's very similar to everyone's grief journey, that we have kind of these similar experiences, that in whatever stage we're at, whether it's the denial stage, most of the time it's the anger and guilt stage, right?
Yep.
You end up kind of hurting other people around you because of the way you're dealing with things, and then the bargaining part too. You could be setting yourself up for disappointment, or you're setting other people up for expectations that can't possibly be met, or unreasonable expectations,
Mm,
to the point where you are accepting. So in the story, really saw myself in a lot of things that she was doing, until there was finally acceptance. And then, of course, the emergence out of that, with a being a completely different person, but with a whole new power. And it's just like you said, and for me, knowledge is power. So
yes.
knowing and evoking that knowledge and that aha moment and that light bulb, that to me is power. So, and for you, it was a big light bulb. For me, with my mom, it was kind of, I had made these realizations along the way. I just didn't connect the dots
Mm,
until after she died. But I had started to do these. I started to accept, that she was gone. I started to do all the steps, and then I made that connection. Now, looking back at how I was acting and how I was relating to the rest of my family, and just trying to get through it, trying to deal with it. There was so much going on in 2018, and looking back, I'm like, I'm kind of, it's kind of a blessing that she went before the pandemic, because it would have been just so hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it would
But
have been so hard.
she didn't go. She died.
She didn't know what did you say?
I said she didn't go. She died.
Yeah, she didn't
A
go. She
lot a lot of people have a hard time saying that word. They say gone, passed away, not here. And when we shy away from the word, it's like we're not validating that it truly is death. They didn't just leave the building. They didn't leave the country. They
Yeah.
didn't leave me. They they died.
Hmm.
They're where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's true, and it's funny because that is the way I tried to help my dad. With that, it's like mommy died last, whatever, like whatever it was last month or last year or in July. And I would show him the memorial card, at
Mm,
the funeral, the pictures of the of us around the grave. So, remember when we went because mommy died. So I was using the word with him to kind of, and I said, but I would follow it up with a way to make him feel like it's okay. It was her time to go. She's in heaven. She's with her mom. She's with grandma now. She's with, all of the friends that went before. I think I'm trying to remember all the, right now I can't, but
I
I would do
remember.
that for him.
I remember in church when you and your sisters, the song and the music, and when you guys sang, it was so beautiful. I think it was my first time I saw you. I'm not saying vulnerable, but that beautiful side of you, the musical side of you.
I definitely felt very vulnerable. And I don't even know what got me through that, because I hadn't sang in public for many, many years. I used to be a church singer, choir singer, and I hadn't sang in many years, over 10 years. And I
Wow.
sang at my mom's funeral, but and it's funny, but now looking back, I have to tell the truth that I was doing it for my dad.
Mm,
Because my dad hadn't heard me sing or hadn't heard us, my sisters and I sing for many years. And so we were doing it really for him, or I was for sure, for sure. So, but I mean, it was all songs that honored my mom, but I was doing it. I was singing. I was out there and I was standing out there, and I didn't want to be, but I did it for him.
beautiful.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
so go watch the show. Go watch the
You
movies. I know
know,
it's
okay.
stuff
You know,
you'll appreciate it once you watch it. You'll see.
okay. So
You'll
where do
appreciate
I find this show? You're gonna
So it's on Disney
because I
Plus.
don't have Netflix.
No, I know you. It's not on Netflix. It's on Disney Plus. I gotta figure. Let me ask my kids. Oh, if anyone watching knows how to watch it and how we could watch it, I know that it's on Disney Plus, which is another streaming service. So you
Okay,
have to.
everyone. So this is I'm inviting myself to Chris's house to watch
Yes,
the show.
yes, yes. When you're done with your second shot, you can come over and we'll
I
watch
just
the
got it
show.
today.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Oh, good. Congratulations.
I
All
don't
right, we'll
know if
be
it's
back.
crank, but it's sore.
I know.
I
I
can't
was
move
I
it.
was sore after my second shot too. Hey, but that just means that your immune system is strong and working.
It
That's
was through the first time also.
Yep.
So
That's what that means. Body's working. You're alive.
I'm still
Doing
here.
what it's supposed to do.
And in case I'm not here, I want you to make sure that you're not going to go all the stages just because of my social. I love you.
I love you too. And it's a date. You're gonna come over. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna put up with me and my kids explaining everything along the way.
And we're going to grab our coffee cup and have
Yeah,
some hot
our
tea.
original tea. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So,
No, it's already time. I can't believe how half
well,
an
that flew
hour
by.
goes.
That flew by.
Yes, yes. Well, in closing, um, what would you like to say? What would you like to close? How did you get on the slopes, by the way?
Did I get on what?
On the slopes?
Oh, no, no, no. My knees are too delicate. My knees are too delicate for that. But I was in charge of snowman making. So,
Did you
we
do the snow angel?
we did a few snow angels. We did a couple of snow sculptures. It was supposed to be snowman. One turned out to be Jabba the Hutt instead, and that's a big blobby creature from Star
Okay.
Wars. And then I did another one way over there on the hill, and it was supposed to be a big snowman, and it starts now. It's looking like a poo emoji. So maybe we're going to change it to a poo emoji instead. But that's what I'm in charge of. I take my job very seriously. But
Okay, that's great.
well, when my knees are in better shape, after I work out a little more, I'll hit the slopes maybe next season. So it's coming down pretty good. Are you seeing this?
I don't see the snow coming.
Yeah, it's camera's kind of light.
Is it snowing?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw it. How beautiful.
I'll go outside my
That
laptop.
looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not there.
Woo.
I'm so glad I'm not there.
Yeah. You definitely need your thick socks.
Okay, my dear, it is our time to close for this week's show. I thank all of our viewers. I thank you for your grace, for your support, for your friendship, and being a woman since we celebrated International Women's Day this
Yes.
week. And you know what? I think we're celebrating who we are. I was talking to someone and it says empowering women, and being a dyslexic, I saw empower as ME, which is me power. And I
Oh
think we
wow.
all
Hey,
have
that's
it.
not bad.
Yeah?
I'll take that. I'll take that. Me power. That sounds
Yeah,
good too.
me power. Because without me power, there is no empowerment,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Right. Right.
So, for all of you, my ladies, hope today's tools, techniques, and sharing a part of who we are and how we cope with it. And if there is any way we can be of help to you, by all means, here is Chris's email. There's my email. We respond to all the emails and
Yes.
we are here for you. And it doesn't matter how. If we don't know the answers, we will find it for you. And for that, God bless you. And thank you, Chris. Come
Thank you,
home safe.
Lisa. Will do. Thanks, everyone. Good night.